This video provides an overview of mainframe GDG files. The expected audience to this video are beginners in mainframe, experienced but non-mainframe developers, and business analysts who interact with mainframe systems. The objective is to explain how the data is stored in GDG files and how the programs will refer to the files to process it. I believe understanding this will help you designing your application or systems that has both mainframe and non-frame systems interactions. The examples provided are for understanding purposes and may not follow all the syntax of mainframe file naming convention. We'll be focusing on the flat files. To understand the concept of GDG files, first we will look at the mainframe file concept. In mainframe, the files are named in a dotted convention, and the values before each dot are called as qualifiers. Let's relate this to the folders and files stored in our C drive. Consider that your C drive is a mainframe server and you have a folder named Gen3 Learn, and within the Gen3 Learn folder you have created a subfolder named Math, and within the Math folder you have a file named Students, where you will store the names of the students enrolled in Math class. In mainframe, this file will be named as gen3learn.math.students. So your C drive folders are called as qualifiers in mainframe, and the last qualifier is the actual file name. Mainframe has a limit of how many qualifiers you can have, and also a limit for the number of characters that are allowed in the names of each of these qualifiers. Next, let's see how files are referenced in JCL, a language using the mainframe programs are executed. JCL are referenced as mainframe jobs. The files are referenced fully with the qualifiers in the JCL, and they are aliased in the JCL. In this example, the file gen3learn.math.students are aliased as input1, and then in the program istore, all the file processing will be done using the alias input1. To keep the explanation simple, I have simplified the JCL here. Let's say this job is executed to display the contents in the gen3learn.math.students. On day 1, let's say you received this file with day 1 data as Mary Jan 1 and John Jan 1 to be saved in the file gen3learn.math.students, and on displaying the content of the file you will see Mary Jan 1 and John Jan 1 in the output. Then on day 2 you receive a new set of data Gary Jan 02 and Jane Jan 02 to be saved in this file. Now if you display the data from gen3learn.math.students, you will no longer see Mary Jan 1 and John Jan 1. Instead, you will see only the data received last, Gary Jan 02 and Jane Jan 02. So end result, the file is always overwritten and only the last received content is stored in the file. But if you have a need to retain the previous entries, then the solution is to append the file, that is to add additional rows to the existing file instead of overwriting file with the new contents. So in this case, when the day 2 data comes in, the data is added at the end to the gen3learn.math.students, and now when you display the data, all the 4 rows will get displayed. End result, you need to read the whole file even if you want to see only the records that is received recently, and if you have processed multiple days of data, then the processing time of your program increases, and you also need to have indicators to identify the last received data. To solve this problem is where the GDG comes into picture. GDG stands for Generation Data Group, where multiple generations of files can be stored with the same base name. The limitation is that you can have only 255 generations for one base file. Let's see if gen3learn.math.students file is created as a GDG, how the data will be referenced and stored. I haven't touched on creating the GDG file portion here in this video. GDG files are referenced a little differently in the JCL. Notice the 0 enclosed within parentheses after the file name. It tells the JCL to read the current version of the file. What does current version means? Let's take a look at the same example data that we used for the non-GDG file. When day 1 data comes in, a new generation of the data is created. Relating it to the C drive concept, now the qualifier students is no longer like a file, it acts like a folder. And G001 is the actual file that will be stored within the folder students, which will store the data Mary Jan 1 and then John Jan 1 in it. So when the day 2 data comes in, the new generation G002 gets created to hold the new data Gary Jan 02 and then Jane Jan 02. So you have your old data in G001 generation and the new data in the G002 generation. So as multiple days of processing happens and when you hit the maximum of 255 generations, on the 256th generation processing, the very first generation gets deleted and the 256th generation will get created. Result: current version will have the last received content and the data received in the past for 254 times or retained in the previous generations. As a side note, if you have a need to retain the data past 255 generations, it is a good practice to periodically schedule a backup of the data in all the GDG versions to a new flat file and then restart the GDG from generation 1. So in JCL, you will refer to the current version as 0, the previous version as -1, and if you don't reference any index, then all the versions of the files will be read. This leads to a problem which is a constraint also, where you would need to know the version of the file that you are looking to process, since the reference to the version can't be changed in the JCL on the fly. Hope this video helps you to understand the basics of GDG files and you can apply this knowledge in your work. If you have questions on this video, please email contact@gen3learning.com. Thank you.